The focus of this domain is on the information systems acquisition, development, and implementation. So kind of the idea, the domain is designed to make sure that you as the CISA candidate knows and can provide assurance that the practices for the acquisitions, development, testing, and implementation of information systems will meet the enterprise strategies and objectives. Of the tasks that are covered throughout this domain, we're going to start off with the ability to evaluate the business case for proposed investments, to evaluate the project management practices and controls to determine whether business requirements are being achieved. We're going to look at conducting reviews to determine whether a project is progressing with the project plans, talk about ways to evaluate controls for information services during the requirements, the acquisition, the development, and the testing phases for compliance. We're going to look at evaluating the readiness of the information systems for the implementation and migration into production phases. And then we're going to conduct the post-implementation reviews of systems to make sure that the deliverables were made, the controls and the organization requirements were being met. We're going to start our discussions with business realization. Now, the realization of business projects is often a compromise of major factors like the cost, quality, the speed, reliability, and dependability. And it's important to be able to perform a comprehensive study to identify which of these factors might be qualifying or winning, and then to do a comparison of those factors with each one's strengths and weaknesses, competencies of the available services to be able to complete and maintain systems. Now, when we talk about realization, what we're really saying here is that, when we're looking for new systems or new acquisitions, what we're saying to you is, look, there are some factors we have to look at to be able to make some decisions about which way we're going to go. We'll talk about those. And by the time I get that new system in, it may take some time before my company, my organization, realizes the benefits that we got from those changes. And that's kind of what we're talking about, the realization of business projects. That realization will change, right? Because there is a compromise between costs and qualities and all those different things. So we're talking about this whole process of going from the beginning of deciding if we need to make changes through the entire process of getting those done and realizing the benefits of it. One of the options we have is called the Portfolio Program Management. The program is a group of projects along with the time-bound tasks that are linked together through common objectives, a common budget, and through schedules and strategies. Now, these are like projects in that they have a limited time frame as well as organizational boundaries. But programs are generally more complex than a project or a project management. They usually have a longer duration, usually higher budgets, and of course higher risks, and are of more strategic importance. An example of a program might be the implementation of a large-scale ERP, an enterprise reporting platform, such as SAP. Now, if you think about what SAP is, that's a huge accounting package that does more than just accounting. Now, what we have to look at is because it's such a huge, not only investment, but project to bring it in, you'd have to look at this as a program conducted of several projects that would be undertaken to bring in SAP. They would include projects like the technology infrastructure to make it run, the operations, the organizational realignments that might be necessary, the business process reengineering, especially if you use something like SAP. That's a complete reengineering of how you do business as usual. To get it optimized, and of course training people to be able to utilize this type of software. So when you think about it, the program then is that collection of projects, and each one of those can be a project that's being managed independently but working together to meet the strategies of our business. Now, program management has as its objectives the execution of programs. Remember, a program is also a whole collection of projects. So you kind of see a little hierarchy here. The program management might have to include things such as the management of the scope, the financials involved, cost overruns and everything else. The schedules, the timing. It's important to understand that some of these may be running in parallel. Some may be running in sequence, one after the other. A series of objectives, the context and the environment of which we're working with. The ability to communicate, so the communications and the culture of the company, as well as the program organization would all fall under the program management. A program organization is required to successfully execute a program. You might think of it as kind of a team, right, where we have different people in different roles to make a program successful. You'd have people that you would designate as the program owner, the program manager, and of course the people that make up the program team. Now, a program often starts with a written assignment from the program owner to a program manager, and then of course from there it will be rolled down to the program team. So again, we're seeing again a chain of command as far as getting things done. So starting from the top of the program owner, moving down to the team members to be able to get things implemented.